in the Gulag prison system, or in famines as a direct result of agricultural collectivization. However, this is only part of the story of the amount of misery inflicted by the Stalin regime through torture, deliberate starvation, neglect, separation from loved ones, cold and hypothermia, e.g. in the prisons of Siberia, being unquantifiable and unimaginable. Stalin was renowned for reacting violently to anyone whom he perceived to be a threat. But were these threats always real, or were they sometimes, often even, simply a figment of his imagination? In other words, was he paranoid? And if so, were his paranoid ideas his own, or was he being fed them by one or more of his henchmen who were anxious to exploit this defect in their leader's personality? On the 1st of October 1939, Winston Churchill, First Lord of the Admiralty, and soon to be the UK's wartime leader, described Russia as a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. The same can certainly be said of Stalin. How can this paradox of the loving father on the one hand, and the man who sent millions to their deaths on the other, be explained? Stalin's daughter, Svetlana, confessed that she would never undertake to explain what motivated all her father's actions, simply because she does not possess the psychological genius of the Russian novelist Dostoevsky, who knew how to penetrate into another man's soul and examine it from within. Nonetheless, an attempt will now be made to unravel the enigma that was Stalin and to discover what made this man of steel tick. Chapter 1. Joseph Stalin, born 18th of December 1878. The early years, a cherished childhood. Joseph Stalin was born in Gori, in eastern Georgia, in 1878. Georgia, a kingdom that existed during the medieval period, was annexed by the Russian Empire in the 19th century. Georgia is situated between the Black Sea to the west and the Caspian Sea to the east, in a mountainous region known as the Caucasus, including Armenia and Azerbaijan to the south and parts of southern Russia to the north. A sickly child of humble origins, Joseph barely managed to survive, and yet one day he would become both famous and notorious the world over. Joseph's father, Bessarion Beso Djugashvili, a Georgian of peasant stock from the village of Didi Lilo, 12 months east of the Georgian capital, Tiflis, later named Tbilisi, was born in 1850. Bessarion was a cobbler by trade and later a worker at the Adulkonov shoe factory in Tiflis. Stalin's mother, Ekaterina Keke, was born in 1858 of a peasant serf named Galad in the village of Gambareli on the outskirts of Gori. In 1935, Ekaterina wrote her memoirs, and it is therefore thanks to her that the first-hand account exists of the subject of this narrative, Joseph Stalin. Written in Georgian, the memoirs are preserved in the archive of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Georgia. Ekaterina recalled her time in Gambareli, which is where she met Bessarion. They were married on the 17th of May, 1874. Said Ekaterina, Beso turned out to be a good family man, who made a good deal of money and provided the family with everything. He was a kind-hearted and pious man. He attended church on Sundays. Beso was proud of me and liked taking me along when he went to church. In short, we had a happy family, so that a lot of people would envy us. Bessarion told Ekaterina that his ancestors had also been serfs and had come from Geri in the Gori municipality. Our happiness had no limit, she said, but sadly, this was not to last. The couple's first child, Mikhail, was born on 1876, but died 2 months later of measles. Their second child